In this video, we will learn how to draw the photos icon in SwiftUI using Hue Rotation and the multiply blend mode. You can see from this image, the photos icon is made up of 8 rectangles which are rotated at an angle. Each of the rectangles also has its own color. To create the photos icon, we are going to use one and only one rectangle. For the single rectangle we will provide, we will use repetition and rotation to rotate them at one revolution, which is 360. We will also provide a single color, which is the orange color. From there, I'll show you how to use the amazing power of the Hue Rotation modifier to get 7 colors out of the single base color you will provide. If this sounds interesting to you, let's get started. Let's begin by drawing the single rectangle. Over here you can see we don't have anything. So we are going to draw a rectangle using rounded rectangle. That takes the parameter corner radius. So let's set the corner radius of the rectangle to 27. The rectangle occupies the entire save area of the screen. So let's give it a proposed width and height using the frame modifier. We will give it a width of 48 and a height of 80. And then remove the alignment parameter. Next, let's paint the rectangle with an orange color. We need to get 8 copies of this rectangle, so we can use the repeat feature in SwiftUI to make 7 copies. Then we add them to this one. Before we do that, we have to embed the rectangle in a Z-stack container. So let's command click the rectangle and embed in the Z-stack. Then we command click again and choose the option repeat. By default, we get 5 copies. So let's change this one to 8. We don't see the 7 copies because all of them occupy at one position. So what we have to do next is to use rotation effect to rotate the rectangles around a central position. After the foreground color modifier, let's add rotation effect. Since we have 8 rectangles, we have to rotate all of them at one revolution, which is 360. So if we divide 360 degrees by 8, we get 45. So for the angle of rotation, let's set it in degrees, and that has to be 45. If we put 45 over here, that will rotate all the rectangles. But what we have to do here is to tell the system to take each of the rectangles and rotate it by 45. Each of the rectangles is represented by item. So let's copy item and put it here. We have to convert the item to a double. So we put double around the item and multiply the item by 45 degrees. So now we have all the 8 rectangles. Since we have a solid color, we don't see the edges of each of the rectangles. So let's add a gap at the central position. To do that, we can use the Y offset, and we have to position that above the rotation effect. So here we are interested in only the Y coordinate. Let's set the offset to -5. We still don't see the gap at the center, This is because if you attach the rotation effect modifier to a view, the view will be rotated at its center. So let's use the anchor point parameter in the rotation effect modifier and set it to the bottom so that we see the gap. So over here, we will add the anchor point parameter and set it to bottom. You can now see we have a gap at the center of the rectangles. Since we have only one solid color, we can use the power of the hue rotation effect to get 7 different colors for the 7 remaining rectangles. Let's look at how to do that. After the foreground color modifier, we are going to add hue rotation. We can use hue rotation to rotate the color of a view. We can set it in degrees or in radians. Let's use degrees. So here the base color is the one on the top, which is selected, the blue bounding box. To be able to distribute different colors for each of the remaining rectangles, we have to know the angle of rotation between each of the rectangles. As we use the rotation effect, you can see here we are rotating each item by 45 degrees. So we are going to use the same thing over here. So let's copy this one. We want to multiply the color intensity of each item by 45. So for the first one, it will remain the same. Here we have it as 45. The next one will have 90. Then it goes to 135. For this rectangle, it will be 180. And with that, we get 7 different colors for all the 7 rectangles. Next, we want to use blend mode to blend the colors in order to get the photos icon. After the hue rotation, let's add the multiply blend mode. And with this, we have successfully created the photos icon using the hue rotation modifier along with blend mode, and by using a single source rectangle containing a single color.